Hello, this is Nick, and I'm back again, continuing this series of videos about classroom discipline even before you start teaching. Videos are sponsored by the Royalty Approach to Education, and you can go and calculate the overall performance scores of students, OPSCORES.com, that is overallperformancescore.com. We're still in part 1, classroom behavior management, and section A, discipline in the classroom. To see my other writings, you can go to thebookpatch.com or teacherspayteachers.com. Previous video, I spoke about collecting additional information about the school at which you're going to teach. That information could be very important in your ability to control your classes when you start teaching. In this video, I'm going to talk about classroom arrangement, making arrangements to do some things inside of your classroom to help reduce disciplinary problems. This is not going to be a very long video because a lot of the information here I will be repeating them in more details as we get into when you are actually teaching. So let's go. You should plan to use the arrangement of your classroom as a disciplinary control mechanism or method. That's the first thing that you need to plan on doing. Much of these things you wouldn't be able to do until you get there, but you can at least plan on doing them. For example, the position of your desk. This is an example of something that you really don't know. You generally don't know what classroom you're going to have, and so it's difficult for you to try to envision where your desk is going to be if you don't know what classroom you're going to have. But you need to plan on when you actually get your class and you know the room, that you make sure that where you're sitting, where your desk is located, you are in the best position to see all your students at all times. Sometimes this could be difficult. Yes, it could be difficult, especially in today's world. We're using smart boards and Promethean boards, and many of those boards have to be directly connected to the computer and your desk, and sometimes it's not physically possible to do some of these things. But to the extent that you can, you should try to make sure that when you're sitting, you don't have to move your head that much in order for you to see all your students, and that gives you better control of student movements and student activities. Seating chart. It's a very good thing to have a seating chart so that when students come into your classroom, they know exactly where they're going to sit, and whenever you want to move them, you move them. But at least when they come into your class, there's a specific place for them to sit, rather than they are sitting wherever they want whenever they enter your classroom. Again, I'll speak more about this a little in some further videos. Something very simple: the position of your garbage can. Not only the position, but the number of garbage cans that you have. As simple as it might seem, the position of your garbage can could help to control the movement of children in your classroom, and that could affect behavioral problems. The position of things like the pencil sharpener. In some classrooms, you do have a pencil sharpener, and you can decide how often students can get up and go and use the pencil sharpener. In some schools, the pencil sharpener cannot really be moved. Um, well, you can do things to move it. In some schools, the pencil sharpener is not something that is attached to the wall. It might just be your your pencil sharpener, and so you can move it wherever you want to move it. But again, it's a matter of making sure that things like the pencil sharpener is in a position that will not cause disruption inside of the classroom. Um, and again, speaking of pencil sharpener, remember that a pencil sharpener does make noise when students are using it. So the position could be quite important. Other things are the position of resource materials, computer, textbooks, pencils, pens, papers, erasers, and these things. Those things could be quite significant. The position of talkers or disruptors. You have to be mindful of where you move them. You might have to move them around from time to time. Again, I will be talking about things like these in videos to come. Special seats. Sometimes it gets that bad that you have to put certain people in some special seats. Sometimes a special seat could be pretty close to you, or far away from you, or sometimes it could be quite isolated, or sometimes you're forced to do things like that. Again, I will be talking more about these things in some videos in the future. But this is just an introduction so that when you're making your plans to get into the classroom to teach, you take some of these things into consideration. Alright, in the next video I'll be speaking about some general do's and don'ts in preparation for teaching, again, even before you start your school year. Thank you, and this is Nick.